Try that again. Hey, that sounds better. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of Pasco City Council this evening of July 15th, 2019. We have agendas available in the corner desk over here, or a more detailed council packet is available through the city's website. We also televise our meetings on Charter Cable Channel 191, as well as broadcast them through the Facebook Live, and also available on the city's website too. And if you get a chance to speak with council this evening, you'd come to the podium up here and share your name with us for our record keeping. And finally, if you have any cell phones, I'd ask you to mute those so that the meeting isn't interrupted. And with housekeeping taken care of, and noting that Mr. Serrano and Mr. Martinez are on vacation, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alvarado?
Yes.
Barajas?
Present.
Maloney?
Here.
Milne?
Present.
Watkins?
Here.
5 present, Mr. Mayor.
And if you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Third item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We consider these items to be routine, and we'll do them as a single roll call vote unless a member of the council or public wants something considered separately. Those items include the minutes from the July 1st meeting, track appointment for Carl Left to a three-year term on the track advisory board, and those are the two items. Anything to be removed or a motion? Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Alvarado. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Watkins?
Yes.
Alvarado?
Yes.
Barajas?
Yes.
Maloney?
Yes.
Milne?
Yes.
5 yeses.
Unanimously covered, so we go on to the next item. We go to 4 proclamations and acknowledgements, none listed, so we go to 5 visitors other than agenda items. If there's anybody here this evening who would like to speak about an item that's not further along on the agenda, this would be your opportunity. And I'm not seeing any hands raised, but I'm also glad to see visitors this evening. Thanks for coming down. We'll go on to item 6, reports from committees or officers. Anybody attend a meeting or event that they wish to share with council? Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a meeting that I attended was I'm part of a subcommittee within Greater Columbia Accountable Community of Health, and this one is trying to do a campaign, like a pilot campaign for raising awareness about the ACEs and resiliency, and so they're doing a pilot in Yakima, and so it was a lot of brainstorming on how we can cover a bus with a message about this, and then some other materials. So it's pretty fun.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. I would just announce that actually next week, Ben Franklin Transit is going to be having a special, it's called a high governance workshop with not only board members, but also community stakeholders. And actually I think we're going to have more stakeholders in the community, including Mr. Zabel and other representatives, than we're going to have board members that time. It would seem going to be well attended, and I think there's a critical mass recognizing that as we become an increasingly urban area, that it's not just transit that needs to be involved in transit things. So it's kind of also an open house to get some input from some of the organizations to maybe be more tightly integrated with our transportation in the community. So looking forward to that next Friday. Any other reports? Hearing none, we're going to go to item 7, hearings and council actions on ordinances and resolutions relating thereto. The first is actually setting a specific date for a hearing, and that specifically, I don't think we necessarily need just to set August 5th as a hearing for a resolution related to a vacation of a portion of East Duluth Street. I don't know if would council like information on that or a motion? Mr. Maloney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 3910, a resolution setting 7 o'clock p.m. Monday, August 5th, 2019 as a time and date to conduct a public hearing to consider vacating a portion of East Duluth Street.
It's been moved and seconded by Ms. Barajas. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. We'll look forward to the hearing on August 5th. 8, ordinances and resolutions not related to hearings. First item we talked about last week at our workshop meeting related to a code amendment for minimum lot size and frontage in zones R2 through R4. Mr. White, any updated information?
None, sir, unless council has any questions.
Questions or a motion? Mr. Maloney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4445, amending PMC Chapter 21, subdivision regulations, and 25, zoning, to reduce the minimum lot size and frontage requirements in certain zoning districts.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Milne. Discussion on this one? I brought up some concerns last week, and I do still have some concerns. I'll be voting for this, but I would hope that at the same time that we do maybe potentially change neighborhoods that are going to have more density, that we be aware and open that traffic is not impacted. That if my understanding is we still have a traffic plan, but if there ends up, for example, needing to be more, or if there's more houses in Burden or wherever that place is, that whether or not that kicks into that we need to have an extra lane or mitigating those sorts of things. And my understanding is our other parts of our code would be able to allow for that. Mr. Alvarado.
Yeah, I think I got the answer for this, but I just want to make sure it's as far as setbacks is pretty much the same as it's allowed in other places. That's correct. Other than we approve 0 lot lines. I know that was a change.
Yes, they're very similar, possibly even identical.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 4445 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And with that, we go to item B, ordinance for Capitol Avenue Sewer Lift Station Project. Mr. Worley, good to see you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Tonight we have an ordinance to accept the donation of a parcel of property where the Capitol Avenue lift station was constructed. I think you may recall that staff came to council previously to accept the construction of the Capitol Avenue lift station. This is the property that is being donated for where that lift station sits, and it is all part of the process that we're going through to finalize the agreement that we entered into related to this lift station and the development of some nearby properties. So with that, be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or a motion? Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4446, accepting the donation of real property from the Miller Living Trust for the Capitol Avenue Sewer Lift Station Project as provided for in the Sewer System Extension Agreement dated June 15th of 2016 and entered into by the City of Pasco and the Miller Living Trust.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Barajas. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously as well. And we go to item C, housekeeping ordinances for criminal offenses. And any updates since last week, Mr. Ferguson?
No, nothing to add.
Okay. Questions or a motion? Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4447, amending PMC section 9.15.030, simple assault.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Milne. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of 4447 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And the second part, Mr. Maloney?
I move to adopt ordinance number 4448, creating a new Pasco Municipal Code Chapter 10.95, Police Department Unmarked Vehicles.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Alvarado. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none, all those in favor of the second part, 4448, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. It's not record time, but we're close. Unfinished business, nothing listed. 10 news business, nothing listed. How about miscellaneous discussion? Mr. Zabel.
I do have a few items, and I'll try to get through them quickly to keep you on track. So City Hall model rolls on. You can see across the street, across the hallway here. That is now utility billing and customer service, temporarily. And they've moved out of their space, so we can work over their space and get that ready for them to move them into the future. And about the time the public gets used to going here, we'll move them back over there. So Cemetery, I wanted to note, I think a pretty neat improvement the staff worked on just recently. It's a ADA accessible shade structure there where services can be held, and it makes the facility much more accessible to folks with disabilities. Already pretty popular, particularly during some of our veteran services is what I hear. And then a couple of items, Family Friday this July 19th at Memorial Park, 7 p.m. So families certainly welcome that. It's great. And Sundown at Tri-Town is going to be at our farmers market, and that's a pretty good size event. That's 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Have live music and vendors as well. So that's going to be pretty cool. Coming up in community economic development, your annual block grant allocation, $700,000. To be allocated Thursday. The Planning Commission will be meeting, looking to get those, and that'll be coming back to council for your consideration August 12th. And report that we had a very well-attended Coffee with the Cop meeting out at Road 68 McDonald's last week, and that number of community members were able to go there, provide their insights and interact with our police department folks. And then I think this one's pretty, it's exciting in that it's something new for us. And last week, Public Works Operations kicked off the residential overlay program. And so this is the first time our crews have actually done that. And this is some of the money, the 2.5% additional that the public voted on many years ago for street overlays, now coming into those neighborhoods because those roads are starting to age out. And it's given us an opportunity to get on top of them before they get to rebuild stage, where we can do it at an early stage, just do an overlay. It's a lot cheaper to do it that way and maintain them. So, and our crews are building that capacity and doing a great job along those lines. Also recognize our engineering folks, particularly Steve and Maria Serra, our utility engineer. They submitted a pretty significant loan application to Public Works Trust Fund last week for $10 million, and this would be dollars for the processed water reuse facilities. It's a loan, it's not free money, but it's a much cheaper interest rate than what we'd get on the market, and that'll save the processors dollars in terms of financing those needed future improvements out there we've been talking about. And then another thing, just a little bragging right thing, but Giza Stadium last year was voted the best minor league ballpark by ballparks.com. Ballpark Digest, and this year we're in the running for it again. And matter of fact, their list, I just looked at it online, Zach sent it to me, has us, they call it their seeded list, so we're still on top. So if you want to go to Ballpark Digest and vote, it would help. So there we go. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Zabel. Any council miscellaneous discussion? Hearing none. Need for an executive session?
No, sir.
With that, we go straight then to 13. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.